Field of 68 After Dark. Welcome in to Field of 68 After Dark here on a Friday, January 23rd, and Winter Storm Fern edition of the show, as that storm is moving its way across the United States here. And as you guys can see, we have a new face. We'll get to that in just a second. Heavy Big Ten night tonight. We'll get to that. Michigan polished off one against Ohio State. Indiana snapped a 4-game losing streak tonight. I know that they were certainly happy to do that. Let's get to it. Wisconsin Badger, Brian Butch, welcome to Field of 68 After Dark, my friend.
I appreciate it. I've been a viewer a long time, so it's fun to be a part of it. That's for sure.
So we got Brian, we got Wisconsin Badger, Brian Butch, we got Marquette Golden Eagle, Jerel McNeal, and live from a Red Roof Inn, Wake Forest Demon Deacon, Randolph Childress. How we doing tonight, fellas?
Hey, man, I got pettiness for all of y'all tonight. First of all, I don't want to hear nothing from you, Mr. Memphis basketball, and y'all barely over 500.
I think we are 500.
First of all, I'm going to get you back to full-time status on Field of 68 because you've been part-time. I got to tell you. And, Brian, if you want to be back, you better bring it tonight because you on probation, too, talking about this Wisconsin Badgers. So we're going to talk some hoop tonight. Let's go, fellas. What's up?
Yep, I think Brian's getting hazed. Is that fair to say, RC?
I don't know why they did that to him. But it's all right. He's going to be okay. He's thick-skinned.
Yeah.
I could tell it was going to be a long night early on in the day.
Yeah. Pretty good. Let's go. Let's get him baptized quickly.
Well, one of the things that RC requested, and I actually agree with him on this is we're going to get Brian first on most of these. So I think he's ready for it. Let's start it off with Michigan, 74-62 over Ohio State. Look, Ohio State competed. They scrapped. I think you can certainly say that. But for Michigan's part, they shoot 21% from three. They shoot 60% from the free throw line. They have 10 turnovers in the first half. They win this game by 12, Brian. What do you make of just, those numbers being what they are and Michigan still finding a way to win this game by double digits?
Well, when I look at it first, it's the turnovers. I mean, that's been the biggest issue the last couple of games for this team is the way that Michigan's turned the ball over. I had a couple of their games. I was at the Wisconsin game where Wisconsin beat them. It's the turnovers that hurt this Michigan team, and I think the ability to understand what they're trying to do offensively, when they don't hurt themselves, you can't beat them. I mean, it took Wisconsin in that game against Michigan to have a bunch of threes from bigs that don't normally shoot well. You look at Alexis Bielskis, who was able to drill a bunch of threes. Like, you have to have that to beat this Michigan team, and I think that's the biggest thing. I thought Ohio State played really well. Guard play, they were able to penetrate. I know Bruce Thornton, when you look at what he was able to do, only 10 points in the game, 3 of 11. But to me, it's Elliot Cadeau and what he's able to do offensively. If he takes care of this basketball, now all of a sudden Michigan, they're offensively, they're moving it side to side. They're getting rolls. They're getting guys coming off, shooting wide open threes. They only go 5, I think, what was it, from 3, 8 of 27 tonight. So overall, didn't shoot it great. But that's how you have – there's 2 ways to beat Michigan. Turn them over, and you got to make threes. Other than that, good luck. And we've seen that. Now, we've seen, recently here what they've done. The turnovers have slowed them down. But I use the word slowed them down. I mean, this, to me, is the best team in the Big Ten. I know we're going to get into it more, guys, but Michigan's the best team in the Big Ten. It's not even close, in my opinion.
Jerel, would you agree with that?
No, and I think B made a great point with that. It's just, and even the game like tonight, Ohio State was able to keep it close early on, really throughout the course of the game, because Michigan was super sloppy with the ball. They got most of their turnovers early on in the first half, and then the second half they were able to wear them down. But like he said, if you don't come into that game and you're prepared to at least make some of your outside shots, it's going to be a long night against Michigan. And tonight was one of those nights for Ohio State. Like, they just couldn't get enough perimeter jump shots to fall tonight, and nobody could heat up. Thornton did some other things, but he didn't have a great night shooting the ball. And you could just see the way that front line and that length bothers people. When the shots aren't falling and guys start getting into those areas where they running their drop coverage, and you got Mara and you got Marius Johnson down there, it's hard for those little guards to get shots off over those dudes and hit them with any kind of consistency at least. So I think he just made a great point with that for sure. In Michigan, this was in most standards a bad night offensively, a night that they're on most 9 times out of 10 they're not going to have on a regular basis, and they were still able to kind of grind this game down. By the time they got a 6-point lead, it felt like it was 10 or 15 points. So,
RC, just thoughts on
Yeah,
this game and what you saw from Michigan.
yeah. I think it's more about Michigan than it is about Ohio State. I think they credit Ohio State for the way they played. I thought they controlled the tempo of the game. There was a few sloppy turnovers by Michigan, but I thought Ohio State did a really good job. They controlled the tempo of the game. The problem is Michigan controls the paint, and they do it every game. So, I have to give Brian credit for this. I have to get the Proby credit, man. He's 100% right on it. I mean, if you don't force them to turn the ball over, which would be difficult, and you have to make threes because you're not going to own the paint. You're not winning the game in paint points. You're not controlling the paint. They make you have to make threes to beat them. And more importantly, you need bigs that can stretch some of that length and pull it away from the rim. It's just hard to do for 40 minutes. They did a really good job of making Michigan play in the half court, man, and it just wasn't enough. I thought Ohio State played as well as they can play against Michigan.
Yeah, Brian, just on this Michigan team, I mean, obviously they were, number one, or have been, floating around sort of 1 to 3 here the last couple of weeks. At one point, they were the national championship favorites. I think Arizona has since taken over that. But was there any reason, I mean, to move Michigan from the betting favorite, as a national, just because they lost to Wisconsin?
No, in my opinion, no. It took a game from a guy, in Alexis Belauskas, who hasn't made threes like that. Against Penn State, he threw one off the backboard, and I watch all of Wisconsin's game. I do their radio, so I see enough of it. But it was one of those games where everything was right. The other thing that happened in that game is Elliot Cadeau picked up 2 fouls, and he sat for about 6 minutes in the first half, and that's how Wisconsin was able to come back. What Elliot brings to this Michigan team, I don't think is talked about nearly enough. It's composure. It's making sure they're in the right sets. He hit tonight. He hit some big time threes to just extend that lead against Ohio State. And to me, I think just the way his approach, he only scores 6 points, but he has 8 assists tonight. The ability that he has to get others involved, because when you talk about Michigan, what do you talk about? You say depth. Look, they've got guys that can start. Their 9th best player could start on every Big Ten team. Like, I've heard that throughout the season. The reality is Elliott gets these guys in the right positions. And there was a point, and this is the other thing that I bring out with this Michigan thing, and I think this is where Dusty has really tapped into these guys. You look at Yaxel, he gets a foul with 2:19 left in this game, and Dusty grabs him and starts just barking at him, saying, "What are you doing? This is a stupid foul. Get back in transition. You're being lazy right now." And that coaching this team is really adapted to. I had a chance to talk with Dusty and say, hey, this team is a team that likes running. So we run a little bit when they don't follow what they're supposed to follow, and make sure that they, don't stand up to the standards that we have. We need to make sure that we're always on these guys and always pushing. And to me, that's why, I still think they're the best team in the Big Ten, and I betting favorite, yet they still should be, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we'll obviously take a longer look at the Big Ten as a whole, as to who might be able to, push them there. But Jerel, I do want to get your thoughts, on the guards of Michigan, because I think when you zoom out and you say, all right, what could possibly be, I don't even want to say weak spot, but a spot that they might be a little susceptible. Elliot Cadeau, before he got to Michigan, and this is probably a credit to Dusty and Elliot, but he was kind of viewed as a liability at Carolina, right? Namari Burnett did not have a great night tonight. Trey McKinney did come off the bench and give him double digits, but I just wonder, do you think when we're talking about a national championship, do you think you're going to get consistent enough efforts and production from the guards on that group?
I do, because I think you got enough guys where if one guy isn't having a great night, you can throw another guy in there and he can kind of get his crack at it. And even like a night like tonight, you already kind of mentioned it, John, but I thought Trey McKinney was big on the night where most of these guys couldn't really make perimeter shots. He comes in, and I think he finished with like 12 or something like that, but he gives you that production off the bench. And what a luxury to have a 5-star freshman, you know what I mean, who is the second and third guy who gets a crack at it if your other guys aren't doing your thing. And Burnett has been good all year. Cadeau, again, like Butchie said, like, man, he was great as far as just continue to play in the flow of the game. He was loose with the ball early, but he shored that up in the second half, and he's hitting those pocket passes, throwing the ball ahead in transition, getting those other guys easy looks. So I think they got enough as far as the guard. The only thing that kind of does worry me in that regard, I'll say, is just that I don't think they necessarily have one perimeter guy where if you run into an elite talent at the guard position, it's kind of somebody to throw at them. You know, you need one guy who is like, you know, kind of your lockdown and you'll put them in the blanket kind of defender on the perimeter as well too. So in that regard, offensively, I think they'll be okay. But on the defensive end, I would say it's probably more of a concern than offensively.
Any thoughts from you on that, RC? Just the caliber of guards and just kind of what Michigan is working with?
Doesn't bother me at all. I think the key is Elliot Cadeau just making shots when opportunity presents itself for him. Their front line is just that dominant. They just need guys. I think that's the beauty of it with Michigan is that they're the real guy. When they're making threes, you're not beating them. So, you know, and there's one other team that I can say that about in a sense that because their front line is that dominant, and that's Arizona. And I push back a little bit on you guys with that because I've always said I thought Arizona was the number one team and the best team. Even though Michigan was smacking people, I thought Arizona had played a better schedule. And I thought that they had answered the bell more against quality opponents than Michigan did early in the year. I'm not saying Michigan isn't great. I'm not saying Michigan wasn't deserving of being number 2 team in the country, but I always thought Arizona was deserving of number 1, even when Michigan was undefeated. So I'm not backing off of that just because Arizona is still running the table right now. I just felt like they were battle tested early. You can say, you know, certain games about, UConn front line and all that kind of stuff. I just thought they were a team coming into conference play, had beaten 5 ranked teams, neutral sites on the road, didn't matter. So that's the only knock. But again, their guard play is good enough. They just have to do their job. They attack, they get downhill, they push in transition. Teams are going to try to make the game ugly against Michigan because that's the only way you can beat them.
Real quick, a note here, unless you had a follow-up, Brian, like maybe want to say something.
No, the only thing I had was, Jay, you're one of the best defenders to ever play, at the college level. But to me, what I see, you talked about, who's
don't roll your eyes like that, RC.
Don't
not roll your eyes like that, RC. Did you see his face, John?
Damn.
Hey,
I did.
Hey, come on. We played enough games
Just
together.
when I was about to take you off probation, I'm putting you back on
probation,
man. You talking about winning the
Hey, I got the
hardware
to prove it. I got the hardware to prove it, RC.
Hey, they're putting banners up for a reason this year, all right? The banner's up. You got to respect the banner.
And Marquette ain't won since. They put his shit up in the air and ain't won a game since.
So now it's my fault. It's all on
me. I'm trying to give you a compliment.
Brian, if they take that banner off the Raptors and burn it, I guarantee you Marquette gonna go on a run. They're gonna go on a run. They'll win the Big East tournament.
We hanging another one next month, RC. We doubling down on it, baby.
Don't do that.
Hey.
Well, all I was trying to get at was, do you think Yaxel can be the guy to be an elite defender to stop one of those guys that's going off? Because I do. I think he's big enough. I think he's long enough. And I think he can move his feet to if they go against a dude that gets hot. I think he showed it in the Maryland game, but I think he can.
I agree. My only rebuttal to that B is just saying I don't think he's guarding. Let's say he runs into elite point guard. I don't know if he's gonna be able to do that. Like, you know what I mean? 6 foot, 5'10", whatever it may be, got the ball in his hands all game. Kind of like the one kid from Stanford almost. Like you run into a guy like that can't be Axel, or it's gonna throw all your matchups off. You know what I mean? It's gonna have to be Cadeau or somebody else.
Let me say this. I'll say this. That's the point of what I mean with Michigan and their length, right? You don't have to do that. You don't need to take like Lindenberg to put him on you don't need to take any of their length guys. Just control the paint and force somebody, and let the guards run out there and chase those guys off the 3-point line, run them in the paint to shoot over that length. Make somebody beat you shooting over that length for 40 minutes. So they don't need to make him take out and guard on the perimeter much, because even when if you're playing well enough and you force Michigan to switch, even when you beat one of them on the perimeter, you still got to deal with somebody else at the rim. And that's why I say it's so hard, man. It's not like you can just say they just got one guy. If it was just Mar, I would say, yeah, you can beat him, because you can just put him in ball screens. Even if he didn't want to come out, come set a screen on me, and you better come out here or I'm shooting it. It can be that way. The problem is you can pull him out, and then you still got to deal with length at the rim and in the paint, man. And so Michigan, man, and I'm a big, big believer in Dusty May. And I've said this about him even before he got to Michigan. He knows how I feel about him and what he is as a coach, man. If you buy into what that guy's selling, I think your team's goes a long way. And I feel like this group is bought into what he's selling and his unselfish play. I was concerned early about Michigan, about the length. It was too big. It wouldn't work. And they're proving me wrong. And they're answering the bell. They're just so dominant on the glass and control the paint. They just make you one-dimensional. And so I just don't know how you're going to beat them. And they're not shooting it great. And they're not playing great 40 minutes right now. And when they do, look out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was going to say one other thing that get overlooked with that too, because B made a great point with the Cadeau, but Mara's passing ability. Like Ohio State was going in and out of zone a lot tonight, and man, it's impossible to stop that dude from getting the ball at the high post, and he's skilled enough just to make all the plays and kind of be the point guard position when they run in the zone too. So it makes it tough, man. It makes it tough for you to figure out something to kind of switch up on them to stop them offensively all the time too.
Yeah, Wolverines keep rolling. Let's hit the other Big Ten action tonight. Indiana, 82-59 over Rutgers. That's their first win at Rutgers in 8 years, since 2018. And it also, more importantly, snaps a 4-game losing streak by the Hoosiers here next against Purdue. But Brian, just for tonight, I know it must have felt good for them to snap that streak and win in such a dominating fashion. I think they closed only as 7.5-point favorites, so they really ran the margin up here on the road at Rutgers.
Yeah, and you look at what they did, 15 assists on 30 made shots, but you finally had guys in Dorn and Tucker that were able to make some shots. I mean, Tucker's averaging 10 points in Big Ten play. All he's averages is 10 points a game. You want to know why Indiana lost the last 4 games? Yes, defensively lapses down the stretch. Again, that Nebraska game they shouldn't have lost. They're leading the majority of it. Then all of a sudden, defensively, they just fall apart. Now Nebraska's really good, so you got to give some credit to them. I'm a firm believer in Nebraska and what they've done. I had them against Northwestern on the Big Ten Network. I've seen them in person when they dismantled Wisconsin. So, I'm a firm believer in them. That being said, if you're Indiana, you got to find a way to close that. I mean, you got to find a way to close that game out. They do here, but they finally get some scoring from Tucker. And I think that's the biggest thing when you look at what needs to happen is he needs to be more aggressive. He needs to be more efficient in what he's trying to do, because offensively, Indiana, when they get that ball, it's popping. Like when they're playing their best basketball, they're getting ball movement, they're getting wide open looks, and they're drilling them. At times, and especially during that 4-game stretch, the ball wasn't moving nearly enough, and then that their bad offense translates to bad defense. Great teams, good teams don't allow that to happen. Indiana allows that to happen. They allowed it to happen in the non-conference season as well, where if didn't have great flow offensively, their defense took a step back. You saw in the non-conference play them sharing the ball, and then all of a sudden they looked really good defensively. Finally, in this game tonight, they found that a little bit. They made some shots. Now they guarded on the other end, and I think that's the thing that is my biggest takeaway is Tucker's got to play more like that. Because to me right now, when I look at it, they're middle of the pack. They're going to have to get some high-quality wins if they're going to get off this bubble conversation.
Right, and I think that obviously that's what you're trying to figure out. Right, Jerel? I mean, is this something that can do that? I know that, again, Rutgers is down and, spent all their NIL money last year. Maybe 2027 we can recoup all that. But is this something you think that, maybe can catapult you to playing good basketball for the next month and a half? Like, is there something that you could take and try to use moving forward?
I mean, they need wins at the end of the day, and they got to try to stack the ones. Obviously, that they're supposed to get. This was a game where they kind of had to win. You can't lose this game and still be thinking like, oh, we're on the bubble or we're gonna be close to the bubble when it come down to it. And then you got to try to go steal a couple big ones to get some more quality wins against some better opponents. But I mean, for me, and I said this probably a couple weeks ago too. The thing that scares me about Indiana, I just don't think they got enough guys. They got enough depth. I think they're good offensively. Like Butch just said, like when they got that ball movement offensively, the sets and their ball movement, the way that they play off of one another, and they got multiple guys that can stretch the floor and shoot the ball. They play a high quality offense, and they can score points, especially when those guys get going. But the Achilles heel is obviously on the defensive end. But even a night like tonight, just the margin for error is so thin with them. Like 82 points, 72 of the 82 came from Dorn, DeVries, and Wilkerson. 72 of the 82 points came from 3 players on their team tonight, and only 2 other guys on their team scored in the game. And one of them was Conway, and he only played like 15 or 16 minutes, and he had like 6 points. Somebody else had 4, and that was all of their offensive output. So it's just like
one was off of a
like,
lot.
you know
That's exactly.
Like, but that's their team. You know what I mean? That's their team. Like those same guys are putting up the numbers. They're putting up quality. Like he said, DeVries has to be more aggressive. He's got to play better. I think he finished with a double-double tonight. But at the same time, just the margin for error. If one of those guys isn't making shots or is off, man, it's going to be an uphill climb, especially against a better or more quality opponent.
Yeah, Dagan, in the latest field in the 68, Indiana was not in, right? Want to make sure I have that. Yeah, Indiana not in. So RC, will Indiana find a way in by the time it's all said and done?
Listen, they were a team that we had in the middle of the Big Ten, right? And they've done nothing to change the thoughts on that from that aspect. The question is, can they pull off the upset, right? Can they, like this coming next game, can they beat a Purdue, right? You get Purdue coming in at home. Can you make enough shots to pull off an upset like that, a massive win like that, and avoid losses? The problem is that the Big Ten, like most of the Power Four conferences, top to bottom, are pretty competitive. So they're going to have to find to pull off some wins against some of the top teams if they want to punch their ticket in. They're not out of it yet. They're right there in the midst of it. It's right there. But starting with the next game, we're going to find out quickly here, because after that is UCLA, is USC. And then
I was just going to say, the next 5 is the toughest. They got
and
Purdue
then
at
UCLA,
UCLA,
then you got
at
the
USC,
Badgers, right?
Wisconsin, Oregon. Like, I mean, that next 5, when you look at that and you look at that West Coast trip, like that UCLA game, because to me, UCLA is right in the middle of the pack as well. Like,
they're right there too. Yep.
That's what's starting to happen that's what's starting to happen in a lot of these in the major conferences now. Now you're playing these games where you're fighting for a certain spot, and when you're playing certain opponents, like I agree with you, when they play UCLA, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about which one of you teams are going to win that game, because whoever wins that game is probably the one we're leaning toward getting a nod, for the NCAA tournament. So this next, like you said, 5 weeks, we're going to learn a lot about Indiana. If they're either going to play themselves into the tournament or or have to pull out a miracle in the Big Ten tournament.
Because they got the next 5, and then the 2 after that are at Illinois and at Purdue. I'm sorry, they aren't winning at Illinois and at Purdue. I don't believe that. But you got the 5 in front of you. Your resume has to start. Like Purdue at home, at UCLA, at USC. You got to try to knock off Wisconsin at home. You got to beat Oregon. Like you got to put together a streak here. If you got to go 4-1, in my opinion, if you're going to be talking about NCAA tournament. Like the Purdue game, that'd be great. But you got to put together a streak of 4 games there if you're going to have a legit conversation about the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a deeper dive into the Big Ten. Who, if anyone, can push Michigan? We'll discuss that. I know obviously Purdue is going to come up. RC is going to hit the Red Roof lobby bar. I mean, just make sure you like nobody puts anything in that drink though when you get it, man. I'm a little nervous.
Econo Lodge.
Econo Lodge. That's right. Econo Lodge. I can't believe they put you.
That's all I can afford, man. I mean, look, what y'all expect, man? Brother hurting right now. That's all.
They cut my hours, not yours, RC.
Yeah. It's all coming out tonight. We'll also take a look at the ACC. All that and more on the other side. Field of 68 after dark.
As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same-game parlays, best-in-class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app, you sign up using bonus code FIELD, you deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today. If you're not a member of the Field of 68's On3 community, make sure to go check us out. Get access to all of Jeff Goodman and Rob Doster's written content, including coaching carousel breakdowns, info on who is and isn't entering the transfer portal, insider recruiting information from none other than Joe Tipton, X's and O's analysis of all the teams in college basketball, and access to our message board community. A 7-day trial costs you $1. The Field of 68 on 3. Get the scoop.
All right, welcome back to Field of 68 After Dark here, Friday, January 23rd edition of the show. Randolph Childress, Jerel, McNeal, Brian Butch here with you. Going to take a quick look, just at the Big Ten at the ACC, and then we're going to get into tomorrow's slate, which, by the way, is like unbelievable matinee because everything got moved. Everything got moved up because of the winter storm. So I don't know what we're going to have after 4 o'clock tomorrow, but we'll have a great 12 to 4 window. So that'll be a good time. The Big Ten. Michigan, the favorite, undisputed. Brian, you talked about it. Is that where we're at? Michigan's favorite in this league, and that's the way it's going to stay?
Yeah, I do. Now, I mean, obviously, Purdue's in conversation. I think you look at, we'll talk about it later on, but Purdue, Illinois, that's going to be a great game. They've got the experience, and they've got the ability. They've got bigs that can, I think, challenge Michigan's bigs. You look at guard play. As far as Purdue goes, like Fletcher Loyal is a guy that I don't think is talked about nearly enough. To me, he is the X factor in every game that Purdue plays because he spaces the floor. He does everything the right way. So there's a team. I think Illinois you have to have in that conversation as well. I think Boswell's injury actually is a good thing for this Illinois team because it has other guys that have to step up and play different roles. And then when, Boswell's back, now all of a sudden they've got some experience. They understand what Brad expects because we all know Brad and the expectations he has is extremely high. So getting those guys to fill those roles and handle the injury, I think is important. And then I'm going to say this, and it's just been the way I've seen them in person. But the way Nebraska is playing right now, the way that they're playing on the offensive end, here's defensively, I don't know how you guard them. And the reason I say that is because guys are making plays throughout the entire time, whether it's Sam Hoiberg, who just goes in and gets more offensive rebounds. He's leading their team as far as defensive rebounding, by the way. Like the way Sam Hoiberg plays, I can't tell you enough how much I love watching Sam Hoiberg play basketball because it's simple. It's all little things. But then you get Frager, what he's able to do by spacing the floor. You look at all the different guys that they've got. Rink Mask, when it goes to the top, now all of a sudden they go the DHO action, and they're able to get cutters. And the way that they move the basketball. And then defensively, the way they guard, it's different. Most teams aren't used to having the double team come from the baseline. Now all of a sudden they're rotating out of it. They're all confused as far as what they're able to do. So system-wise and personnel-wise, it's really become a really great mesh. So I know Nebraska's schedule and what they have coming up, we're going to get that answer as far as if Nebraska's at that level. But my eye test, to me, they're at that level with those guys. They really are as far as how they're able to do. The question mark I have for you guys is Michigan State. Are they in play? I still believe they are. Like I just Tom Izzo, they're physical, and they're going to run in transition. I think they're going to have a say in this, but I know that they've dropped a little bit as far as the last couple of weeks and how they've gone about it.
No. You ain't getting away with that. we know Michigan State gonna be there. The question is, what's up with your badges? Are your badges real or are they pretenders? That's what we want to know. I know what Tom Izzo gonna be doing. Let's get into
Cut
these
through
badges.
some of the
Let's talk
smoke,
about
RC.
they 62. I
RC,
want
I'm
to know
gonna tell
they
you. I'm
real.
gonna
I
tell
don't
you
want
right now.
I know what the other team. I know what Hoiberg and all that. Michigan State, Purdue, Illinois. Let's talk about these badges, man. What's up with these badges?
Okay.
Let me know.
So
Let's do that.
Honestly, and I'm probably the toughest, grader when I watch Wisconsin basketball. I see all their games. I do their radio. Like, I don't like saying they're good because people say, "Oh, you're a homer." So I do, like, I'm probably the toughest. I'm probably a little bit easier on Marquette when I call Marquette games versus when I call a Badger game. Just to be
That's
honest.
like a Mercer rule, though, right now. That's like picking on
Yeah, they need it. They need it.
It's not a Mercer rule. There's some pieces there. They just got to get
Come
rid
on,
of
man.
it.
Don't bully Marquette right now. Let's leave it in the Big Ten.
But when you talk about Wisconsin, I didn't think they were real. I didn't at first. I thought there was a lot of things that they needed to do to improve defensively. I thought Nick Boyd was really good, but I thought at times Nick over-dribbled. The last 4 games during their winning streak, there's something, I think it's like 23 assists, only like 4 turnovers. So his ability to really pass the ball, the way John Blackwell is playing, Nolan Winters' anchor in the middle, and how he's able to stretch the floor. And the Michigan win. Like, every team has a win where they finally believe in themselves. The Michigan win was that for Wisconsin. I mean, in the locker room afterwards, as I'm interviewing Greg, the belief that you could hear all of it. And Greg had the big smile on his face as far as, I knew this team had a chance to be special. We just needed to go prove it to ourselves. So you take that Michigan win. Now, all of a sudden, you go and you handle business. You could have lost at Minnesota. Minnesota ties it up. John Blackwell drills a game-winning 3. You come, you take care of Rutgers. You go on the road. You take care of Penn State. Last night, guys, Penn State was never in that game at all. And I thought it was a complete 40 minutes of basketball by Wisconsin. And that's what good teams do. If you got a team down, you dominate them all 4. You don't let them in.
Penn State hadn't started the Big Ten season yet, so we don't brag on that. They hadn't started.
Hey, so you want, but RC now they played Michigan. This Michigan team that I said was the best.
They almost got them.
Penn State had one of the worst possessions I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Otherwise, they have a chance to win. So as much as you want to tell me, RC, that Penn State didn't start the Big Ten season, they tried to start it against Michigan.
They did. By the way, you can bet Wisconsin at BetMGM to win the Big Ten plus 15,000. I mean,
I'm probably still not betting it, but I mean, I do think they're in that top tier now. And I did not think that. I thought they were more in that Indiana tier, RC, but I would move them up to that top tier right now.
What's interesting, Jerel, is that, I think all of us would probably say Purdue when we're thinking about, all right, word association in the Big Ten, you go Michigan, then Purdue. Nebraska is actually the second betting favorite at BetMGM plus 275 to win the Big Ten. I got to retrain my brain. I think I'm just conditioned to not believe Nebraska, and I think that time is probably coming to an end. This is a real team.
You waiting on the fall off like J. Cole, huh?
Yeah, but I mean, maybe it just
maybe it just fall off like Cole. Yeah, I know. I
they go on the road. They win at home all the time. This is what they always do. But now they're winning on the road too. They beat Illinois on the road. They just won last week on the road. So, I mean, maybe that fall off just doesn't come.
No, and this is I was with you early on, but after just getting the opportunity to watch them, I think they're going to be there. I think it's going to end up being Michigan, obviously. Nebraska is going to be right there. Again, I think RC just kind of alluded to that. More faith than anything probably in Michigan State. We know what Izzo does. They're going to be around. They're going to be up in that top 3 or 4, game or 2 out of first place. And I think that last team is going to end up being Purdue. And he even talked about Illinois a little bit. I think Illinois was in a really good position, but I do think the Boswell thing, long term, like B said, it might help them. Have some guys step up, but that's going to cost them some games. And in the meantime, I'm pretty confident of that. So I don't think they necessarily going to be in the mix for a Big Ten championship this regular season because of that. But I think those other 4 teams would be those all teams that would be kind of scraping at the top and seeing who can stay close enough, or at least get Michigan a couple times head to head so they can have a shot to walk off with a title at the end.
RC, just your general thoughts Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because I want to get to the ACC. So just to wrap it up, just your overview of all of it, Big Ten related.
I would say this. How long is Colin Boswell going to be out? Right? Do we know?
I think they said.
They
I
said
think
in
it's said like
February.
5 weeks, right? At least a
Yeah.
month.
Yeah, I don't think Illinois can do a whole lot without him. I think he's that important to that team. One, I'm not saying they're in danger of missing the tournament or whatever, but there's no way. He's one of the best two-way guards in college basketball. His experience and what he means to that team, I don't think you can measure it. I think they'll win enough games to kind of hold it together, but they're not going far or doing a lot of damage without him. The biggest beneficiary, I think, of the way college basketball season is going right now is Purdue. This team has only lost 2 games. They're a damn good team, and we came into this season kind of like saying, is this the Purdue team that's going to get over the hump? I think the Nebraska start has us not talking about Purdue. I think Michigan start, that neither one of those 2 teams we expected starts the way they did for the season to be the way it has. And Purdue is kind of just flying under the radar, right, of how good this team is. And they got, we know Braden Smith showing us against Iowa what he is and what that team could be, man, and Trey Kaufman rented these guys. So I'm still not counting out Purdue and how good they are, and I expect them when it's all said and done. I expect Purdue to be right there with Michigan. I'm not going any further than that as far as beating Purdue. I think they're that good.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, I'm going to actually come right back to you, RC, because now we're going to take a look at the ACC. Duke's a big favorite, minus 325. Obviously, Wake Forest is right there behind them at plus 1 billion. And then you got teams like Virginia, Clemson, Louisville. Who's challenging Duke? I mean, I think we'd all agree that Duke's the favorite, but who really, if you're running to go to the window with somebody as a challenger, who would it be in the ACC, RC?
Virginia. I think Virginia's the team that people aren't talking about and how good they are. Shooters throughout the roster and elite rim protection. So you play Virginia, you're not playing one guy. It's not like that one guy is going to beat you. I think probably the most important guy would be Tester Ritter, not because he has to score so much, is that he's the one guy that, when he's in ball screens and you switch, he gives them that balance of low post scoring. But I think this Virginia team, when it, will be a tough out. They've already beaten Louisville. I think Louisville, the question I have for Louisville, have they spotted the crowd too much? I think McNeal Brown is going to make a comeback soon. They'll be hold. Yes. Did they dig themselves too much of a hole to dig out of? Start the year, I thought that they would be the team that can challenge Duke for the regular season title. But since then, I don't know if they can climb out of that. I think getting healthy, they'll still be dangerous. I think they'll make some noise late, but they're not out of it. But Duke is just 6-0, and they've spotted them 3 games. And I think Virginia's 1 game behind them. And Virginia is the team I think that could beat Duke, and we'll find out soon.
Brian, I do want to follow up on Louisville here. McNeal Brown, I believe, is going to play tomorrow. I think that's the idea. He's going to play tomorrow against Virginia Tech. And it feels like before the injury, Louisville was a totally different. Like, they were dominant. They looked like one of the elite teams in the country. Without him, they really just and maybe there is no adjusting, right? Maybe there's but they just did not adjust well without him. So now that he is back, do you think Louisville gets back to that elite form that they looked like the first 6 weeks of the season?
Yeah, I mean, when he was there, they were averaging 94. When he wasn't, they're averaging 77. When he was there, they were shooting at 37% from 3. When he wasn't, they're shooting 29%. Now, who are they playing? I understand the competition level increased, but that's a 20-point difference. So when you look at that, now all of a sudden, and it's how the ball's popping, you're getting better shots, all those things. The problem and the question I have with Louisville, the biggest thing is, like, can they stop fouling? I mean, they allow so many free throws that it's like, to me, that's one of those things that I look at with it. But I think in general right now, when you look at Louisville, I think having Brown back, it gives the excitement back. It gives your offense a pop. It gives you that. And then defensively, can they guard well long enough? And I think with the scoring that's going to come from it, I think they're going to play better defense. And I think that's the Louisville team. Now, I just, as RC was saying, like, I think they've dug too big of a hole to catch Duke. I think Virginia, when you look at that, RC, you're talking about that Virginia team. Yeah, they've got shooters, but what I love about it, more importantly, is the way that they crash the glass. Now you're creating second chance opportunities. You're giving you, and the way they move the ball. I mean, they're 27th in assists in the nation. They got a 1.61 assist to turnover ratio. Like those little things to me, I'm a basketball nut, but I played at Wisconsin under Bo Ryan. We take care of the basketball and we move so that's ingrained in my head. So when I see those things, that's the sign to me of saying you're a really good basketball team, because there's nothing sexy about that. But to me, sexy doesn't win. Are you fundamentally sound? Do you create second chance opportunities? Do you pound the glass? Do you share the ball for each other? Are you a team or are you an individual? Right now in college basketball, there's teams with a lot of individuals, and that's why we're seeing them not perform to the level that they need to perform at. Virginia, they're a team. You can't – how do you stop – that's why I love Nebraska so much, because they're a team. Virginia fits that same mold to me. You're not going to say, stop him, we're going to go win by 20. That's not in play for Virginia. And then for me, it's like I said, RC, but it's that offensive rebounding as far as just the ability to understand what needs to happen. You create second chance opportunities. Things don't go your way. You go pound the glass, and now all of a sudden you're competing against Duke, and maybe you get a 50-50 ball, and it goes your way. It changes the game. All those things play such a big factor, and Virginia's so good at that.
Yeah, if we're Jerel, if we're going by odds at BetMGM, North Carolina, and by the way, this is the first show I've done on Field of 68 without a Carolina guy since I started. So I'm very proud about that. But if you that's a joke, but you guys get the point. If you go by odds, North Carolina would finish 7th in the ACC. Obviously, disastrous West Coast trip for them, but 7th, is that what we're dealing with North Carolina?
I heard somebody say it on here the other day, and I'm probably gonna piss off a lot of my colleagues, but I mean, I don't think they're gonna finish 7th, but this year kind of flip flopped on Carolina. They've been complaining the last couple of years about not having a big, and now they got 2 of them, and they ain't got no damn guard. So it's a bit of a tough spot for him. Trimble obviously had the injury; he hasn't been great since he's come back, but it's not just him alone. He's gonna give you some production. He's got the experience and everything, but some of those other guys are gonna have to play better. They're gonna have to make shots and make more plays, or it's gonna be a middle of the pack finish. I think for Carolina again, anywhere from 4th to 6th, anywhere somewhere in that area, and just jumping on some of the other names that y'all said. I do think Duke is going to win it. I don't think it's necessarily going to be that close either, but I think Virginia is going to be in the mix. I think Clemson will kind of hang around almost in a Michigan State kind of manner. Obviously, I think also Odom from Virginia has to be the front runner for Coach of the Year, right? Him or Lucas from Miami. And those are the couple teams that I'm kind of up in the air about. I'm not sure what Miami is yet. I'm not sure what NC State is exactly. I think Louisville.
I know what Miami isn't. Miami's not one of the worst teams in the country.
No, they're not. That's true. No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I say. I think Lucas is him and Odom right now, Coach of the Year. It's just about how high they're going to be able to finish, whether he's going to have a realistic shot. I think Virginia's going to be in the top 4.
But Miami's strength of schedule is going to kill them, and that's the problem. They're 188 right now in strength of schedule, and that's what's. And I dislike that. I know that's you have to have the metrics. I understand it, but I dislike it because I think they're a better basketball team, and I think that's going to hurt them down the stretch.
Yeah.
Who on here said Carolina's finished 7? I want them drug tested immediately. Send them to HR. Trevor, send the forms.
It's just the odds.
I want them drug tested.
Odds.
I don't then put the nobody in a right damn mind odds. Who wrote those odds? I'm the worst damn odds. There's no way in hell Carolina's finished in 7th. Cut it out. I know they had a bad stretch out West Coast. Get over it. They'll come back. They'll respond.
Hey, RC though, but RC, the way they guarded out there, they just look so disinterested in playing any defense. I think that was the glaring thing about Carolina during that trip. Now, okay, they go ahead and they deal with, Notre Dame and they allow 69 against Notre Dame, and look at, we can play defense, but that performance defensively was just terrible.
Well, and RC, let me just from a big picture, because we got to take a break, but and I appreciate you stepping up
Hey
to the
man,
plate
tell
here.
Dagan shut up. We ain't listening to Dagan right now. Dagan ain't got the mic. You go and he wait till we
That's
finish.
crazy.
Like Dagan, you go ahead, finish your point. He can wait.
And this could be the last, depending on what this winter storm does. We don't know when the next show could be, right? I mean, we got to maximize our time together here. But for this North Carolina program, what does Hubert need? I mean, look, the next 4 he could go 1-3. What does he need to do for everybody to feel good about him being back in 2027?
First of all, he's going to be back in 2027. Like, cut all this out. They're not going to fall on their face. It's too much talent. Like, just it's an overreaction. Don't get me wrong. That California trip is brutal. There was only one team in the ACC last year that won both games on that trip, and that was Wake Forest. Duke has done it this year, and we know how good they are. I think Carolina will respond. No one has ever said they were going to be a Final Four team, but they're going to be a good team. They're going to make a tournament, and Hubert's going to be back. So you can be a diehard. I know we got a million Tar Heels on this show,
Yes.
hoping they're going to be back in the Final Four. They're not, but the demise of Carolina, like they're going to finish 8th or 9th in the ACC. Like, cut it out. I want some of what y'all smoking.
Hey, if North Carolina does finish 7th in the ACC, every North Carolina person on this network should have to come on a show together, like that, just them. Not anybody else, just them, and commiserate and hash it out and figure out where they went wrong. That's what I'm going to pitch. Again, if they finish 7th, which RC says will absolutely not happen, no way they're going to finish better than 7th. But that is where they are in the odds. So I just want to pass it along. All right, tomorrow, great slate as always on a Saturday. Again, more front loaded, but we'll get to the big games on tomorrow. Get these guys' thoughts and more. Stick around. Field of 68 after dark.
As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same-game parlays, best-in-class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app, you sign up using bonus code FIELD, you deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today.
Are you trying to follow everything happening in college basketball? It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for recruiting news, game analysis, portal updates, and much, much more. For just $50 a year, you get access to the same information that your favorite coaching staff is subscribed to. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help. Make sure you subscribe today.
Welcome back, Field of 68 after dark. If only you guys could hear. I mean, RC is just, you get him in La Quinta, man, he turns into a new person. He is on another level on the show tonight and behind the scenes. Randolph Childress, Jerel, McNeal, Brian, Butch. I'm John Martin. All right. It is an absolutely loaded slate on Saturday, as it usually is. So, again, some of these games are moved up, not at their original times, but that's fine. They're getting played, and that's what matters. So let's kind of go through these as rapid fire as we can, RC. We'll start with you. North Carolina, Virginia at noon on ESPN2. Thoughts on this one?
Really big opportunity for Carolina to go in and get that one. But I told you, Virginia's going to be a tough out, man. I mean, but I think it's a tremendous opportunity. They have the frontline guys to negate the superpower of Virginia in the sense of their rim protection. So I think Caleb Wilson and him and Henry Vasar is going to be a tough deal to handle inside. But I'm a big fan of Ryan Odom, obviously, in Virginia, and I think that place will be rocking. So, But Carolina coming off, I think it's a big win to them to kind of stop the bleeding and kind of hush the noise up. So I'm though I usually think, I'm a big, for personal reasons, I cheer for UVA. But I think Carolina is coming in there and almost a big must-win opportunity for them to kind of shut all the noise up.
Jerel?
Yeah, I'm going. I think I'm going with Virginia on this one. The one thing I am worried about, the RC had kind of touched on a little bit. I do think Carolina with their front court, they got a good opportunity of getting some of those other guys on Virginia in foul trouble, and I think that can kind of shift the game a little bit. So it should be an interesting game. Obviously, like you said, it's a great opportunity for Carolina to kind of shut up some of the noise and get back on the right side of things and get a quality, quad one road win. So I'm sure they'll be ready to go. But I think I'm gonna roll with UVA on this one.
Brian, Rob Doster just texted the group that Virginia -6.5 is free money.
I would agree. Absolutely. There's no question. I was thinking about the same thing here. I think this is a clear Virginia win. I think it's the offensive glass. We talked about that. I think it's the spacing. My eyes saw Carolina play defense out west, and I can't get past that. And if it's anything like that, now I did watch the Notre Dame game a little bit as well, so my eyes saw that too. But I'm going back to that West Coast, and just the way that Virginia pops that thing around, there's going to be opportunities. Mm-hmm. I just don't see North Carolina being able to defend at a level that they need to defend at.
Yeah. All right. So there you have it. Some ACC action to kick your day off. How about this one? I lament that they're playing again already. I wish this was a little later in the season because it feels like they just played. But Houston, Texas Tech, again, got moved up because of the storm. It's going to be at 2 o'clock on ESPN. I think, RC, this is going to basically close as a pick'em here in Lubbock. Texas Tech, obviously, off a big win against BYU over the weekend. How do you see the rematch going down?
I have a hard time ever picking against Houston. I just do. I think Texas Tech is good, but I just have a hard time picking against Houston. I think they're a legit team that can make it to Indianapolis. And like I've said before, I think the Big 12 run through Houston until someone shows me otherwise. They've been doing nothing but kicking ass and taking names since they came into the league. And I see no reason to me to think that that's going to change. Even though I know it's in Lubbock, I still think it's a game that I expect Houston to win.
I mean, Jerel, you really think Houston is just going to waltz into United Supermarkets Arena in Lubbock, Texas, and
I don't give a damn what the name. You can say it as sexy as you want to say it. I stand on what I said. I said Houston gonna go in there and handle business. That's what I said. You trying to dress it up?
Can you believe that? RC,
hey, he said he ain't no need to dress it up, huh, RC?
Market. You can name every grocery store ever existed. I said Houston gonna go in there and get the dub. That's what I said.
I get his gripe, and I do have a hard time playing, kind of picking against Houston. I think out of anybody that I've seen in the country, they do as good as a job as anybody on defending JT Toppin. They're physical. They run their system. They do a great job of digging, of forcing him out of getting to that right shoulder, which he loves to get to, which I'm sure if you let him get to is pretty much a bucket or a foul every time. But the key point in this game is going to be the point guard matchup, and Christian Anderson is going to have to get loose, and he's going to have a big game and kind of win his matchup against Fleming or some of the other perimeter guys against Houston to have a chance. But I do think Texas Tech can get them quick turnaround. They played them already, got home court on their side, so I'm rolling with Texas Tech on this one.
Brian, are you willing to go where no one else on this show was willing to go?
I'm taking Houston. That's all I know. Like this is Houston, and it's because of this. Okay, so Houston, they're going to make Texas Tech uncomfortable. They're going to force turnovers. They're going to get into you. Texas Tech's a team that's going to make a bunch of threes. I think the average is close to 11 made threes a game. And what does Houston do? They're going to close out. They're going to make all that difficult. And if you can't start, if you don't have that rhythm and everything you're going through is grind mode, you don't have that chemistry that you need. I'm taking Houston just like RC is.
Brian, that's a
Red
great
Roof
answer. 'Cause
in
if you
Red
didn't go, if
Raiders.
you didn't go with me, I was cutting your mic and I was going to just block you out the show. We was going to finish it as a 3-man. But no, on a serious note, man, the
I
reason
got
why
that vibe, RC. I got that vibe.
there
So
you
I
go.
said,
I'm
all
glad
right, I
you
better
did,
go
man.
with them.
I'm glad you picked up on it. No, I'll say this. I've said all year long, I think JT Toppin is, the player of the year race is gone. Like, that's Boozer. I think we're about 2 weeks away from he can just rest and the award's going to be his, right? But I've been all year long how JT Toppin is right behind him and how dominant and how great he's been. I think Houston, if he even attempts to get it going, they're going to trap him in the post. They're not going to. He's not beating Houston, and they're going to trap ball screens. They just their defense and how they play, and that's why I say they're built to come in. They don't have to game plan that. That's just what they do. And JT Toppin's a great passer out of traps. They're not going to let Christian Anderson come off ball screens and make plays. He's going to have to get off of it. So can the other guy? Sometimes it's felt like Houston has been a 2-man show. And we'll see. Can they step up and make threes? They're going to have to beat Houston.
If it was a neutral site game, I'd be all over Houston. Give me the home Red Raiders in this one. I think they even the score.
Ain't nobody asked you. Go on to the next question, man. We ain't nobody asked you.
Can I just say?
You just hosting the show, man.
Why are they playing so soon again? They just played 17 days ago. Like, this should have been a late March, maybe damn near last game of the season set up instead of playing, 2 games.
If Lawan Watts plays well, I think they can win. If he doesn't play really well,
that's a good point.
I think Houston kind of drags them in the deep end of the pool and drowns them, and I think they win they can win a close one there. That's what I think will happen.
All right, let's hit Illinois Purdue. Obviously, Illinois is trying to navigate life without Colin Boswell, Brian, for the next month or so. Purdue coming off a tough one against UCLA. Do they get right back at home in the friendly confines of Mackey Arena against Illinois?
Yeah, absolutely. You look at this and Braden Smith and his ability, how he finished that UCLA game. There's not going to be 2 of those like that. It just isn't. I think Purdue wins here. I think Boswell, that injury, even though I think it's going to help Illinois down the stretch, I don't think it helps them tomorrow. I think Purdue is just going to find a way, and this is where experience matters. Old wins. It does. It will. I know there's some sensational freshmen that are amazing to watch. But when you talk about the team part of this, Purdue is an old team that really knows what they're doing, what their approach is, how they're going to handle it. TKR and how he's able to maneuver too, I think is a big part of it. I think Illinois is going to bring a lot of fight, but I think you've got the UCLA game coming off of that. Braden Smith, how that played out. This has to be Purdue.
Jerel?
Yeah, the Boswell injury is going to kill him. They're not going to have nobody to even get close to him.
Man, let's go to the next thing. Illinois at Purdue coming off a loss in Mackey Arena. Cut this out. Let's go to the next game, man. This game ain't even going to be close. What are we talking about? Like, cut it out.
Well,
RC. Cut it out.
Let's stop wasting time with it, RC.
Hey, let's not
I feel
time,
it.
Man.
I feel it.
Let's go to Chiefs.
Hey,
let's go to
I will say this. I'm interested in seeing how this next month or so the usage of Wagler go up, though. Like, he's gonna have the ball in his hands even more. He's already probably the best passer on their team. I think he leads their team in assists. So I think this could go a long way just for potential, draft stock, at least for him, just seeing him with a higher usage rate.
Good. Nobody's questioning that. But now he doesn't have the stabilizer beside him. Now he becomes, we get to focus everything on him. And he doesn't 100%. Have that secondary guy handler.
That's what I'm curious to see what Brad does to offset that, because Brad's going to offset that somehow. Like, Brad's such a good coach, and I just think that's the chess match that's going to happen over the next month that I'm intrigued to see.
Yeah, he good, but when you missing him, that guy, like come on, guys, Colin Boswell is shout out to him. That dude is good. Like, he is really good. And you're talking about a guy that we have seen guard the best perimeter guy on the other team and give him hell. Like, that guy is missing on a team, whereas who's the next guy we even think about being a stopper? Like, who's the next? That's my point. You're missing your toughness. You're missing your guy. He means much more than the stats can't even quantify. So I say this jokingly, But it's just a credit to Colin Boswell, man. He's that guy, and they cannot. They're nowhere near. He's the one guy they cannot be without. They're nowhere near the teams that can challenge for the Big Ten without him. He's just the one injury they just can't overcome. I'm sorry. I think he's that important to them. And then going to Mackey, coming off a loss, this could be an ass kicking.
Well, RC, what I will tell you, and I think you understand this, so I don't think it's going to come as a surprise, but you know, our network video editor is a proud Illini. And if they go in there and pull it off, you're going to undoubtedly be the first 10 seconds of an edit on TikTok.
Didn't I tell y'all to go to the next game and cut this out, man? How long ago I got to keep you hardhead? See, you've been hanging around Dagan too long. Y'all don't listen. Go to the next game so we can go to toast, man. This game is over. I done gave you the reasons. I done gave you the analysis. Like shit. Let's go. What are we talking about?
All right. We're going to just go to the afters. We're just going to go to the afters. Is that okay? Do we have your permission, RC, to go to the afters?
Please go to
we're going to the afters with this group. Stick around.
These my DJ Burns things I had for
taking them into the depths of Alaska and just dropping them off.
The first person that's gonna die gotta be one of the black guys. We're not gonna make it to the end of the movie.
That's like asking somebody that they want to get a prostate exam or a damn gunshot wound.
This is the afters here on Field of 68. What's in that bottle, man? That ain't no Saratoga, is it? That's straight. That's straight tequila.
This is still water, and I just drank. Hey, where my mic at? I don't even know my mic.
It is Saratoga.
Yeah, and this is sparkle water, man. It's free in my hotel, man. Y'all keep joking. See, my hotel get free water.
Complimentary.
Yeah, hey,
yes,
y'all
sir.
talking about
That's
me all
the
y'all
perks.
know.
I think this
When
show
I come back
absolutely went off the
back
rails.
with the Field of 68 next month, I'm gonna tell Jeff and Rob we need to stay here at this hotel, man. This is a nice hotel, man.
Man, yeah. I can't wait. The dreary end. All right, what have we not hit? What have we not gotten to? Should we, Dagan? You just tell me, Dagan. What do we need to hit?
Yeah, I apologize in advance for this, Jerel, but we're gonna have to talk about Marquette Butler here for just a little bit. Butler was in our next four out in today's bracket. So just kind of your thoughts on the Bulldogs. Can they get into the tournament?
I'm
If
not
they play
confident
Marquette,
in
they
it.
can get it.
Hey, whoa. This one wasn't directed toward you, okay? This one was for me, RC. So let me handle it with care. Let me handle it with care.
Articulate
Okay?
your story, brother. My bad.
No. So I thought Butler had a chance early on, but at the end of the day, I think it's gonna be right now it's gonna be three teams that get in the Big East, and UConn, St. John's, and Nova. And I think it's gonna be one more team that's kind of on that line right now. Butler is trending in that direction, but they're gonna have to find a way to not only hold serve and win the games that they're supposed to win in the conference, but at the same time, they're going to have to go and try to knock off one of those three teams that I named at some point throughout the next couple months. I'm not necessarily confident that this is going to happen, but I think the harder thing is just going to be handling business everywhere else, and especially the way this league is this year. Like, man, outside of that top three, and even Seton Hall being in the mix too. Shout out to my guy Dagan. I ain't forget about you, Dagan. They're right there. I would even give them a leg up, obviously on Butler as well too. They would probably be in right now, but so we may get four in. We might get four in at the end of the day, but I don't think Butler's going to end up being in that four.
Man, once storied league, we're praying for four bids. I mean, that's a tough time.
I mean, it happened to the ACC last year. And they got 25
we were on their
teams.
ass. We were on their head. We were on.
But they got 25 teams too, John. You know what I'm saying? So it can happen to anybody. It can happen to
anybody.
anybody.
Football to split revenue.
John,
we don't.
Patience.
It's really no excuse.
Let Jerel have his moment, man. His team is 7 and 14 right now, right? We got to be patient and understanding, man. Ever since they put his jersey in the rafters, the season went to shit. They need to pull his jersey down and burn it, and don't even think about doing that. Do it another year, not right now. It jinxed him. That's where everything went wrong. I texted him that night and told him that. I told him, like, what the hell's going on? Why did he do it? And he went anyway. But no, I think 4 teams is. I think they'll get 4. I think they're. If Seton Hall kind of keeps it together, they had a really strong start to conference play. They do struggle to score. We know that. If they can continue just to finish in the top, find a way to finish in the top 4, I think the Big East will get 4 teams in.
No, I think the problem, part of the issue too with St. John's is where they were at the preseason ranking. Now all of a sudden there was a little bit of that, back and forth. So now people thought, well, the Big East isn't that good, and then obviously you had some of the bottom teams that haven't performed like people thought they would. I think that's where the beginning of the season really hurt this league, just as far as the viewers go.
Yeah, I think the bottom 4 teams are the biggest disappointment so far in the Big East, and that's Georgetown, it's Marquette, Providence, and Xavier. We didn't think those 4 would be the bottom 4 teams in the Big East. I think that's fair to say. I think everybody else. Yeah, they're all. I think those teams. We all thought they would be significantly better.
I saw Providence out in Wisconsin, out in San Diego play Wisconsin, and during the game, I legit had to say, I don't know if they know what transition defense is. Like, they had 5 guys go to the rim, and Wisconsin was getting layup after layup, and I was like, what are you even doing? Like, I was anticipating a really good game, and it was just a blowout. I just that whole Providence team in general, I can't get my head around it.
When I heard what Providence spent on their roster, I shit myself. I literally shit myself. Like, wow. Whoever did that can't do it again next year. That's just the bottom line. But they gotta address it. They gotta address that. The bottom of that league has got to be addressed, because it's been
That's
bad.
a real disgusting analogy, bro. Why would you say that? Like, I'm uncomfortable with that. Like, why would you sit there and say you're gonna shit yourself, man? Like, who said that?
Because I did. Like,
what kind of drunken stew you on, bro? You said you gonna shit yourself. Like, what are we doing?
When I heard that the number, I mean, there was no other reaction that was appropriate, to be honest.
Here's my
not
question.
as bad as Marquette trying to make a layup. That's like Marquette trying to make layups.
Damn.
They make
so now you going
going
analytical on me now too? What, you got the fucking shot chart over there, RC?
Listen, Marquette at the rim look like they shoot with their feet, bro. I see them making layups like they trying to kick it in. I don't know what's going on.
That's what Wemby does. It works for Wemby.
Here's my real question.
Like
at times, of the bottom 4, who do you think can fix it the quickest next year? I actually think it's Marquette.
No, 100%, 100%.
I do.
Please explain.
I mean,
you got a great young point guard. I mean,
it's one bad year, RC. It's one bad year.
First of all, let's be clear.
And they've been rock solid for the last.
I'm a huge fan of Shaka. Shaka's legit. This is no indictment on Shaka. They're just having a horrible year. Yeah. The question that I do have, or I'll say this, the concern that I do have about their inability to fix it quick is, one, you do have pieces and young players. The problem is you cannot count on those guys being there next year in this portal era. You just can't do it.
Shaka
so don't sit here. Then that's a mistake, because then that's the problem. Yeah. But that is my problem, is that I think I don't believe Shaka. If Shaka doesn't change that approach to me, he'll end up like Dabo, in a sense of the success or the place that you put Marquette in your time you've been there is as good as there is in the Big East. They will not be able to get back to that and sustain that if you don't dance in a portal. Nobody is staying because the offers, the money those kids are going to have to turn down. They're not doing it. They ain't that much loyalty in the world. It's not an indictment on him. It's just like they won't be Big East champions and all the things that he's done if he's not dabbling in a portal, unless they get a crap ton of money, because he's going to have to pay his players an increase of salary just to come back.
Yeah. I mean, but he's done a great job as well with the retention. Go ahead, B. Go ahead,
I
B.
think that's where it's at. And the only reason I feel this is because I've called 3 games. I've sat there for an hour after one of their shoot rounds, and really talked with Shaka in depth. And I said, why, like, what's the approach? Why did you not doubt? He goes, I'm better at coaching relationships. Because it's not to say that I'm not going to go in the portal. I mean, I understand that's part of what I have to do, but I'm better at coaching relationships. To me, that then it says, hey, I'm going to get my guys to re-sign. I'm going to go in the portal quickly, but my young guys, I'm going to go. And I think his thing was, I've preached relationships to my guys so much that I have to double down and I have to be with them. And I'm going to do it this year, and I'm going to see how it goes. Okay, it's not going the way they want to go. I'm going to go in the portal now. I learned my lesson, but I didn't want to lie to my guys. And I think that was his biggest thing, is I didn't want to be a liar, because I sat in front of the group and I said, relationships are matter and I'm in your corner. And I value that. Like, and this is coming from a Wisconsin guy, RC. Like, it's tough to say that, but Shock is the right guy for the place. And I think of the 4 group, they could turn around quickly, because the relationship he's built with his young players, I don't see them leaving, RC. Like, I know but I just don't see them. And maybe I'm wrong.
Hey, Brian, are you married?
I'm married. Yeah, I found someone to say yes. It's amazing.
Okay, so that means you got a partner. Someone else had to say that, right? Like, your wife had to say she would come home and put up with your shit and marry you, correct?
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I'm saying it is. I'm not questioning Shaka. Like, let's be clear with that. Like he is stamped, he is validated. This is not an indictment on him. What I question is the representation of these kids. And they're not gonna just say, hey, we like your relationship with Shaka, he's good to you. They're gonna be like, hey man, you're gonna take this money and you going elsewhere. That's just the nature of it. Now, I'm not saying it won't be a kid or so that he can do that with. And he's great. And I get him that. I agree with that. I just don't believe that he can keep Marquette at the level of success that he sustained. And the reason I'm using a Dabo analogy is because Dabo was late with the portal and felt the same way. Now, when that model fit, he was a national champion. And Clemson hasn't sniffed that since. And all I'm saying is that I'm not saying Marquette is going to be 7-14 at this point in a year ago, but I will say they're not competing for a Big East championship. They're not cutting down nets. Like, I was there watching them cut down nets in the Garden. Yeah. And waiting on these guys to become older, that I don't believe he can retain enough guys with that relationship. It's going to be really, really hard. I don't believe he can get back to that. That's just my opinion. I hope I'm wrong.
Jerel, how many guys does he want to retain is the question.
And I think more than anything, that's
he
the
don't
biggest
want his
thing
bum ass.
It's been, hey, look, RC. I'll be doing numbers in this era, baby.
No doubt.
No, but no, I think the retention part is big. He's obviously doubling down on that, but at the same time, on average, I would say what he loses maybe one guy a year, and it's usually a guy who's not playing at all. But so I think he has to use it. I think he will waver a little bit on that, but at the same time, I don't think he's going to go crazy, and it's got to be the right fit. But more than anything, like RC said, I don't even think it's necessarily that it's going to be Dabo, because a lot of that is Dabo was getting peeled too, and that's why, I sent y'all that clip earlier. Dabo, like, man, to hell with this. I'm about to start blowing the whistle on some of these dudes, because the guys that
can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? How much money do you think Nigel James Jr. is going to go for command next year? This is my question to you guys. This is what I mean when I say it's a two-way street. This is a really talented freshman that's averaging 15 a game. How much will he command next year? Because there ain't nobody coming back on no relationship discount. So how much money does 15 get you in the Big East next year in the open market?
I mean, it's gonna get him essentially after this year. It's got to get, in my opinion, you gotta empty out the truck and essentially let him write his own number or be prepared to match any offer that he gets. But at the same time, like you said, RC, more than him more than him getting bought and somebody else being like, I'm gonna give you $2 million, $1.5 million to come here. I'm more concerned about, and this is just from me kind of seeing the atmosphere that they've created, the relationship stuff that he's talking about firsthand. I think he would be quicker to go because he's gonna be concerned if you're not gonna go dabble in the portal, am I gonna have a cast around me where I could win? You get what I'm saying in that regard? Like, not necessarily I need to just flood and get my pockets fat, but I need to at least have some more guys around me that can help me so we can get this thing rolling again as well too. I think that's gonna play a big part because in my opinion, if I'm him, I'm cool. I know I'm gonna get paid because Marquette got the money.
If his name was Jerel McNeal Jr. instead of Nigel James Jr., you telling him, oh yeah, let's see let's stick around and see who they gonna bring in the portal and what's gonna happen around you. Don't worry about that $2 million they offering over there. That's what you're saying?
I did not say that. What I'm saying is we having a conversation. Are you planning on hitting the portal this year, Coach? Are we going to go get some more guys? And number two, like I said, that conversation is going to come up where it's going to be, all right, I might be the reigning rookie of the year. I led the team in almost every statistical category. I had the ball in my hands all damn year. I'm not going. The sliding scale stuff is probably over. I better be the highest paid player on the team.
You just said to me, you got to empty up the bank to keep him. So if he empties the bank to keep him, you're not going to be. It is not but so much talent you can get. Now, are you telling me Marquette's going to have $10 or $15 million in NIL?
I'm not telling you that, but I think.
Oh, my bad. I was about to touch the screen. I thought your screen got stuck. I was like, what the hell? He froze on me or something.
I think we gonna surprise you with the kind of money that they can put together. Though I will say that. So I'm saying that they got the money to give is what I'm saying. They can sign him and still put a pliable roster around him, and that's still saying that. I think you got to do whatever you need to do in terms of if you're Marquette to keep him.
Good stuff there, fellas. I think we'll see. I tend to lean with RC though. Money talks, man. That's it. All that other shit, you know what I mean? You can throw it under the bed and red roof it.
It's not an indictment on him. I just think it's hard. I mean, you can build relationships, and he's a tremendous leader of young men. We joking around here a lot, but I do believe in him. I just don't think the relationship model is hard to sustain to keep kids coming back in today's climate. I just think it's really hard because I would want my son to play for Shaka, but if I get a $1.5-2 million offer, I'm not leaving that on the table. My son is going well.
No, it changed everything. It's life changing money.
I mean, like Michigan State, they're finding the money. I mean, Tom's about relationships, same concept. But there's a lot of money to pay those guys to come back too, and it has to match. Absolutely. Like it just does. That's the reality of it. It has to match.
Yes, exactly. All right, Dagan. Dagan says he has one more for us, and then we're gonna get out of here. And we'll do
have one more, and this is to get Brian into the true afters form here. We've taken it easy on him. I'm talking too much basketball, so we're gonna take it off the rails here a little bit. This one's from Trevor, the Illini family mentioned earlier.
Oh,
he said, if you guys had to fight one college basketball mascot, who are you picking and why?
Oh, this is easy. I'm fighting Notre Dame. That thing's just annoying every way around it. Like, I got a chance. I'm not gonna fight a bear or something like that. Like that's gonna get me down. If I'm gonna go, I want to go where I got a chance to win. I mean, I'm not fighting a Wolverine. Come on, they got claws and everything. I'm gonna fight an Irish. I got a chance to win that thing. I'm not dumb. I'm not smart, but I'm not dumb. Like if I'm gonna get into a fight, I want to make sure I walk away a little bit, feel pretty good about myself. I mean, basketball players are fake tough guys anyways. Let's be honest. We are. Like, we're not – I mean, we're going to act like we get into a fight, and then there's going to be an official going to come in and separate it. And, and if there is a little scuffle, especially now you see everyone running after each other, nobody's really fighting. When's the last time you saw a good fight in a basketball game?
I mean, Malice the Palace was the last one. That Carmelo shit really wasn't to own nothing. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm like. I hate to say it, but I mean, kind of are fake tough guys. We are. I mean,
what you got, RC?
I'm gonna let him speak for himself. I don't want to hear that shit. I ain't buying none of that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't know what he's talking about. That's that Wisconsin shit. He's from Wisconsin talking that shit. I don't know. No, seriously. I don't know, man. Maybe I'd fight a golden eagle or something. I don't know, man. I mean, what do you just? It's like, no, I don't know.
I hope your ass.
Everybody else beating them. Everybody else beating them. Like,
that's right. This is the year to fight them. This is absolutely the year to fight
no,
them,
man. Seriously, I don't know.
I mean, honestly, this was the time. If we're gonna do a Marquette shit like roast show, it's like, you know, I think now's a fine time to do it, Jerel. It's probably
that's why they that's probably why I ain't seen y'all all year. That somebody knew this shit was coming.
Yeah,
I told you, man.
RC, do you or Jerel, do you have an answer for who you fight?
They put him in the Raptors, man. They put him in the Raptors, dude, and it went downhill.
Give me that and I'm not even sure the proper term. That freaking nun from Providence. Yeah. The Friar. Yeah, there you go. Whatever the hell it is.
Did you just say you wanted to fight none? Like, what did you? What this?
Hey, man, that Providence nun is crazy.
It's by far the creepiest mascot. It's the creepiest mascot in NCAA basketball.
Hey, what's that scary movie that the nun is in? The Conjuring?
Yeah, that's what it is. What is it called? The Nun. That's what it looked like. That's why I said that, I think, subconsciously.
That's insane. That's actually a great, like,
he's a nun. Like, seriously. That's why.
That's a great.
You know what? I mean, Jeff and Rob. That's why they mentioned my guy. Put my guy. Hey, let's get Jerel back in the rotation, Rob. Jeff, let's cut this out right now. Get my man back.
Hey, I really thought you were talking about.
Let's give him full-time hours so he can get his insurance. Get him off the part-time stuff. That's my guy. We got to get him back on the show now. Y'all cut this out.
Yeah, I really was.
Can't be up here talking about beating up nuns. HR don't like that.
Yes, exactly. I really was worried you were going Sister Jean. I was like, she's not a mascot; she's a fan, and she's no longer with us.
No, that's too far. That's too far.
Yeah.
Too far.
I would fight Delaware Blue Hen. That blue hen ain't on shit. He ain't talking about shit. It's a hen. I got that. I got that blue hen. All right. So that's who I'd go with. All right, let's do toast of the night. Who wants to? Brian, how about you, man? We're throwing you in. Who gets your toast of the night?
Oh, it's pretty simple here. It's good. I'm going to go with Nick Dorn from Indiana. Big performance, 23 points, a much-needed win against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Indiana needed to do that, 82-50. I'm going with Nick Dorn.
Absolutely. Jerel? Jerel, you there?
Hey, man, cut your mic on, man.
That's what happens with a nun. You get the mic.
My bad.
That's right.
My bad.
The Lord has
I had to mute myself. I was over here cursing RC ass out. But no, I'm going. We talked about it earlier. I'm going St. Louis. 19-1. They had a dominant performance early on in the day. They probably almost was close to setting a record for how many 3-pointers they made, man. Coach Schertz has done it again. Seems like he got another year where he caught lightning in the bottle. The 1 year we didn't get a chance to see the Indiana State team in the tournament. I am confident that this St. Louis team is going to get in, though, and that might be a team who might be getting fitted for that glass slipper come March.
Hard to argue with you there, brother. They are really, 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 really good, and I've been a fan of theirs. I want to go with Georgia, but Rob ain't on the show, so I can rub it in his face and say I told you so with Georgia. But I'm gonna shout out tomorrow, man. I'm going with the Morgan State Bears and the Howard Bison tomorrow, baby, at 2:00. Shout out to MEAC, baby.
I'm excited for you.
We need a MEAC podcast, Jeff and Rob. We gotta get a MEAC podcast, man. I'm going all MEAC today.
Well, I agree. We need more representation on this network.
There you go.
We can't just do the power leagues and the Big East and shit all the time.
We can't just do Carolina.
You got 100 Carolina, huh?
And then when they lose, none of them want to be on the show. They calling in sick and shit when they get sick. You know, Carolina lost. They stop.
Tired of that shit, RC.
Yeah. With JJ, JJ, he on the network. He in Bristol. He on the show every other night. Carolina lose and just. his dog chewed his homework and shit. He ain't on the show no more. I can't hear from him now. I don't want to hear that shit. Get your ass up on the show.
I'm gonna give a
Henson be
toast.
fishing. He fishing when the Carolina lose. He out catching 2-inch bass on his boat when he fishing. He can't come on the show.
Hey, that's crazy, but it's true. I'm gonna give a shout out and a toast to that curtain, man. That curtain's been doing work on the show tonight,
Hey, man.
and I swear I think I just saw something fly above your head. So when we get
Hey,
off
man, don't
here,
play like that. Don't
we
play
got to
like
we
that.
got to see, just investigate. I could, again, that could just be my Wi-Fi here.
If
But
I was on the first floor, I'd be worried. I'm on the 5th floor, so don't start with me. I'm on the.
all right, you're good. You're good. You're safe. There's no question. All right,
Man,
that's
get
going
out.
to do it for us. It's going to do it for us tonight on a Friday, January 23rd edition of Field of 68. Thanks for being with us. Hey, if you're impacted by this beast of a storm, stay safe, stay warm, and keep it locked here on Field of 68 After Dark. So for Randolph Childress, for Jerel McNeal, for Brian Butch, I'm John Martin. See you next time.